let me go ahead and check. Yes, we are in fact live. Awesome. All right, hello everyone. Ace here. Welcome to today's live stream. I'm joined today with returning guest Urs Osia.
Hello everyone.
Hello Urs, and today we are back with some more Star Wars: The High Republic adventures. And so yeah, issue 11 of this wonderful journey presented to us by the one and only Daniel Jose Older. A story that we are told takes place a century before the Acolyte because they're still desperately trying to market this in some way, even if they have to tie it to the Acolyte to do it.
Do you think they will do better in sales, if there is any sales, if they didn't add the Acolyte to this?
Well, I don't know if it'll do that much better, but it would appeal to the progressive crowd perhaps slightly more. Not enough to actually get the progressive crowd to actually, buy the books, because we've seen some of the sales figures for some of the High Republic books, and they are beyond atrocious. When the absolute best they can do is the very first High Republic novel hitting 150,000 sales, in a Star Wars novel that's only able to do that. And one that's been, I'm pretty sure they've sunk billions of dollars into it at this point. So it's not like this is a cheap little thing for Disney. This was supposed to be the High Republic was supposed to be a major multimedia event that they were supposed to be able to milk money off of ad infinitum. Which they haven't. It's been a disaster.
I mean, technically, they did exactly as intended. It is a multi-million event. Just not of sales. Because, millions no. It is billions by now that they have probably wasted.
All right, let me see what the cost to make was. Because I am kind of curious. But I know the Acolyte was supposed to be, of course, part of the High Republic, and they also had... So they have that. They have the supposedly upcoming Star Wars Eclipse game.
Yeah, let's see what happens with that.
Yeah, I haven't heard of anything about that within a year or so. So it's not exactly a shining success story at this point. Well, compared to most things High Republic, it probably, considering it is actually a success story, because at least it's not released and we know it's terrible. It's not released yet.
I mean, even if it was good, do you think a lot of people will want anything Star Wars now?
I think Disney has legitimately poisoned the Star Wars brand to such a degree that they are going to have to make some massive changes to really be able to actually make money off of it. There's still good shows and whatnot that every once in a while might come out. Or at least good seasons of shows that might come out. So there is a market for Star Wars, I would say. But it has to be actual Star Wars is the thing, and Disney doesn't want to do that. And I think people...
And, I mean, even if they wanted, I don't think I will trust them at this point.
Yeah, that's the other big issue. I don't think most people trust Disney with Star Wars. Paul Schlock says, a little High Republic before the election. Siege says, hello there. I have my tea and weed ready to get into this episode of the High as fuck Republic fitting, giving the tiding. Ming, lol. Uruz says, we need every hard drug in existence to get through this, and funnily enough, the drugs will help us lose less brain cells. Siege says, I don't hate the art yet, but this is the cover, and that fat character still has a shit design. That's not the only thing, and I'm already noticing issues with the front cover. Once again, some of the eyes are just not lining up with where they should be. So if you see the fat character in the front here, the eyes are not looking quite the same direction.
Better than most, though.
Better than most, but still not quite. So yeah, this is also the front cover is the other thing.
I mean, better than most in the High Republic is still not exactly good.
Correct. Paul says, and a lazy eye. Yep, as I point. Siege says, fat neck. Yep. To be fair, there are people in real life with fat necks that are incredibly buff. I just don't buy that this character is going to be one of that particular build. Pickle Jar for Hillary says, High Republic is a major low point. Paul Schlock says, Boba Season 2 can save them.
I don't know.
Considering how Boba Season 1 went, don't know about that. Let's see, though. High Republic Adventures, Return to Velo. Written by Daniel Jose Older. Let's see how many people had to read the plot of this comic before it became publicly available. So we have Daniel Jose Older. We have 2 letterers, so that's 3 people right there. We have an editor, so 4. An assistant editor, which is 5. A senior editor, which is 6. An associate editor, which is 7. And the Lucasfilm Story Group, 8, 9, and 10. So 10 people, at the bare minimum, had to read the plot of this comic before it became publicly available.
Well, the only good thing I can say is that this has 1 less than usual.
Yes, we are making progress. Slow progress, but progress nevertheless. Pickle Jars says, help me, Obi-Wan, I need a diet. You know, you would think that the Jedi Order would be against gluttony. Since, I don't know, it might be... That's one of the... It just seems to me like it would be one of those things that might potentially tempt someone. Slightly, but might.
I mean, ignore for a second that being fat doesn't exactly make you have a lot of stamina for those maneuvers that Jedi usually need to do when there is a fight. Being able to eat whatever you want, whenever you want, is, as you say, very tempting, and the Order usually, was against temptation for obvious reason.
Yep.
But in this old Order, you could do anything at all.
Pickle Jar says, join the dark side, we have all-you-can-eat buffets. I remember when it was, join the dark side, we have cookies. That was
good times.
That was a joke back in the day, so. Let's continue. Star Wars...
Let's start.
Yeah. Star Wars The High Republic. Uprising behind the Stormwall. A glimmer of freedom within the Occlusion Zone. The heroic uprising led by Jedi Padawans Gavi and Ram Jamaram. That kid's parents clearly hated him.
Wow, this is a Mario and Luigi Mario situation.
Yeah. Has liberated the planet Velo from the yoke of the Nihil, but Velo's independence must remain secret if it is to persist. Now Gavi and a group of freedom fighters known as the Scarlet Skulls. Why do the freedom fighters sound like what you would expect a curried cabal to be named?
Either that or the Marines Malevolent.
I mean,
the Marines Malevolent might be a little better than the Drukhari, but they still kill a lot of people for no reason.
Yeah, but the Marines Malevolent might call themselves the evil Marines, basically. But calling them the Scarlet Skulls, they'd probably go, that's probably bad for our PR. That's probably one of the things where we aren't even getting a tactical bit or strategic benefit from them. Let's not do that.
I mean, if I want to think of something that will fit, this looks like a Raider group from Fallout. At least the name will fit a lot for super mutants.
Now, what probably happened here is Daniel Jose Older has been... Kevin Scott told Daniel Jose Older about Kevin Scott's depiction of Warhammer 40k, and Daniel Jose Older went, how can I put this into Star Wars? The Kevin Scott interpretation of 40k, how can I do that? We'll name the Freedom Fighters the Scarlet Skulls.
You know what? I can't believe it.
At least with the Drukhari, it makes sense why they name their cabals stuff like that, because their whole point is to feed off of the pain and fear of others. So having your cabal be named something intimidating like that is itself a example of psychological warfare. You're not going to be as scared if you're told that you're being attacked by the cabal of fluffy kittens. You're going to be terrified if you get attacked by the cabal of flayed skulls, is the point I'm getting at.
Yeah. The same way you probably don't want to name a relief effort, well, freedom fighter group in this case, the Scarlet Skulls. You are probably thinking you are getting even more fuck instead of help.
I know.
Well, who are we to talk, I suppose?
Siege says Red Skull did nothing wrong. Oh god, that's another thing. Yeah, when you're a freedom fighter group has the same name as an actual Nazi from Marvel Comics. An actual Nazi that fought for Nazi Germany in Marvel Comics, you know you fucked up.
I don't know how this happened, but now it is even funnier.
Pickle Jar says Scarlet Skull. Hail Hydra!
Hey.
Daniel Jose Older is basically here going, what if the real freedom fighters were the Nazis we made along the way?
Wow! Well, that is a phrase today. I hope this is not the only time we get to laugh in this comic.
Let's find out. Now Gavi and a group of freedom fighters known as the Scarlet Skulls work tirelessly to maintain the illusion that Valo is still occupied in order to avoid a crackdown by Marchion Row. Nobody knows how long the deception will last. Are you kidding me? So, let's get this straight, right? And demonstrate just how fucking stupid this is. One, why would none of the Nihil know about this? Are we just going to... That's one big plot hole here, because if the planet liberated itself, that's not going to happen overnight. That's going to take years of bloody fighting to actually accomplish. Two, and this is equally important, these supposed freedom fighters are going to have to crack down on the population just to prevent this information from getting out as well. So the freedom fighters are now going to have to start oppressing the population to say, don't tell anyone that we're actually liberated, because that would fuck us over.
I mean, what did happen last time that these guys were helping someone? They were fighting one, and I mean one fight, one battle. You don't free a planet just with one battle. And just as you said, they are going to have to start oppressing people because some people are going to side with the pirates.
Yeah, that you're going to have a police state to also root down any spies or whatnot that from the Nihil that might be able to relay the information on top of that. So you're going to have a massive police state to actually enforce this little plan. As Siege says, so freedom is a deception. Yeah, this is some 1984 shit right here. Freedom is a deception.
Ironically enough, I still think that a lot of these planets have a lot more freedom with the Nihil than with the Republic.
Yeah, that too. Like, they've depicted Markion as being this ANCAP character who just lets people do whatever the fuck they want so long as they aren't actively trying to work with the Jedi to screw over the Nihil. And then, at the same time, like, wasn't that also part of the whole point of just showing Markion doing fuck all for 4 fucking months by sitting on his chair doing absolutely nothing to demonstrate that it was supposed to be an ANCAP paradise where the government didn't actually exist and do anything?
Basically, everyone can do whatever the fuck you want to do so long as you don't screw us over.
Mr. Schnorkel says, if you can't say out loud that you're free without repercussion, then you're not free. Yes.
Basically. I mean, if you wanted to be any more free than you were with the Republic, this guy comes around, kicks them out, and tells you, do whatever you want. Why would you not rat these freedom fighters the moment you have the chance? You are going to have to crack some schools, ironically enough, to keep them all to shut up. I don't know how this is going to work.
There's even the issue of potentially having your own supporters that just happen to be radicals and don't give a fuck. That are just going to go around being completely masked off, saying, yeah, we completely kicked the Nihil out. You know, this comic's equivalent to the Tankies, where the Tankies are basically the only group of the far left that are actually honest about their intentions.
I mean, let's for a second believe that the population in this planet really, really, really wanted every single Nihil out. Do you think a small group of freedom fighters is going to be able to stop these people no free from the oppression of the Nihil from, I don't know, shooting down any new ship that tries to come with more pirates, for example?
Depends on how big this movement is. I don't expect it to be that big, to be honest, but that's neither here nor there. Siege says, it speaks to how shallow these writers are. Their characters and setting have such little depth that we can pick it apart within minutes. It's hilarious. I'd give it credit if it made sense. Lol. Yeah, that's the thing. We haven't even actually started the actual comic. We're just reading the lead up to the comic. The opening scroll, and it's still filled with issues.
Technically speaking, not even the first page, and the comic is already done.
Yeah. We've been at this for maybe 20 minutes already, tearing apart this comic. And we haven't actually get into the first actual proper panel. Speaking of, let's actually do that. Lonisa City, Fallo. Gavi, Jedi Youngling, a.k.a. the Scarlet Skull. A kid is leading the resistance movement that has successfully overthrown the planet. A youngling, not a Padawan, not a knight, a youngling.
My Ace, I want to keep this job. I want out.
Can someone please tell Daniel Jose Older what happened to the Children's Crusade? Because it didn't exactly go the way that he somehow thinks it went. I can tell you that much.
It was a lot of population control, I told you that.
Siege says, let's see if they can somehow make sense of it. Never mind, here we go. Yeah, I know. All right, let me give this kid the voice that he so desperately deserves. And so, free beings across the occlusion zone. This is the Scarlet Skull, closing out another transmission. Remember, the Nihil can't bomb and shoot and the Nihil can bomb and shoot and starve us, but they can never stop the tide of freedom. And that tide is all of us, each and every one of you. We'll never stop, we'll never rest, until all of us are free. We do not forgive. We do not forget. We are Legion, motherfucker. Also, I love how he's just broadcasting this message to keep everything on the down low over public airwaves that surely can in no possibility whatsoever be either detected or recorded by Nihil.
Yeah, I was fighting not to stop you for a second because the preamble was telling us that this was going to keep secret.
Yeah, no.
Secret! This is, by the kiddies' own words, being broadcasted all over the occlusion zone.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
This is...
Not even one page in.
We're reaching levels of stupidity that were jokes in abridged series a decade ago. If anyone's ever seen Code Ment, which is a abridged parody series of Code Geass, they have this exact same fucking joke in that abridged series, where you basically had the bad guys going, I wonder where the two rebel leaders could be potentially meeting up. And then it immediately follows with an email that one of the rebel leaders sends to literally everyone on the planet. Hello there! I'm the rebel leader of such and such group. We wish to meet with the other rebel leader right here in this ship on this harbor. Come on down. That is this. Except that was meant as a joke, where the characters in the comic or in the abridged series even themselves were just blinking at the sheer stupidity of it. Whereas here, it is unironically meant to be taken seriously.
Yeah, that is the thing. The abridged series is made for you to laugh at the stupidity of it all. We are supposed to think that this kid is doing something heroic, serious, and powerful. And the only thing I am seeing is someone that will be blasted, literally, on the face in 2 seconds if this was any good story.
Yeah. Siege says, so he's a little white kid doing a broadcast, and this is the Resistance. Holy shit. Yeah, I know. It's like we're watching a live stream of Hassan Piker. Paul Schlock says they're rebelling against the preschool teachers. When it said Padawan, I thought it meant something like Attack of the Clones Anakin and not the Phantom Menace. The thing is, it's even funnier because this is a youngling. This isn't a proper Padawan. I know this says it's a Padawan in the previous page, but it says here he's a youngling. Younglings are not quite one and the same. You dumb motherfucker, Daniel Jose Older.
Yeah, a Padawan, even the lowest one, should be at least somewhat capable of, defending himself. He's not expected to at first.
Mm-hmm.
But this kid probably cannot fight his way out of a paperback. Why is he the Scarlet Skull?
Can he become the Scarlet Skull through more, shall we say, Drukari methods, please?
I don't want to scroll down. I don't want to see what happens. Oh, I did. Fuck this.
We are all the Republic. Huh? Oh no. Yeah. What?
I was about to read, but I lost it. Give me a second.
Oh no! The Nihil are sending a message right after I broadcast to the entirety of the occlusion zone that the planet is free from Nihil incursion. What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing. Nothing will. Please, if you make the Nihil so fucking stupid that they are not going to figure this out, This is going to hurt, right?
What's funny
Give me a
is
second.
they're gonna have to depict the Nihil as not figuring this out after the Nihil have constantly run circles around the Republic and the Jedi Order. They've consistently been able to outsmart the Republic and the Jedi Order, and this is how the Nihil are getting depicted. That is a fucking damning statement on the state of the Republic and the Jedi Order.
Yeah. I mean, you cannot make the villain of your story look like he is the most competent person in the whole story and suddenly make everyone stupid. I mean, we didn't take this comic seriously before, but this is a joke.
Yes, it is. Killer was mad says, why, hello there. Hello, Killer was mad. Alright,
you are going to be mad.
Yeah. Siege says, this is about as useless as a student protester. Please let this turn really dark really fast. Yes, please.
We'll see. Okay, let me voice this guy. Let's see where this goes. Come in, Lanissa City. Nihil, command, come in. Do you copy?
Yes, Lanissa City, Nihil command is here. All is well. All is well. Thank you for checking in and whatnot.
Oh my... Okay. Great, but
The population remains subdued and oppressed. Yes. Why are they making him now sound like a Skaven? The population remains subdued and oppressed. Yes.
Because his plan should go exactly like a Skaven one.
Yes, it should.
I mean, for fuck's sake, at the very least, you were using a device for communication a moment before. You know, with how smart these skills should be, wouldn't you not use something like that to mask your voice so you don't sound like a child? Because I cannot believe this guy is hearing a child on the other side of the line and thinking, yes, all is good.
As stupid as it is, let's not forget that, yes, the Nihil have already recruited children into their leadership. Remember that one dumbass that's gotten himself thermodetonated with his own thermodetonator trying to kill Markion Rowe after switching sides.
You know what? You are right. And now I feel even worse.
Siege says, when I said dark, I didn't mean like that. Why is any of this happening? Good question. Killer says, the Republic went from an armed representative of the state to a regarded bunch of dimwit that are too incompetent to get things done. Yep. Tactician says, I look at this image and I just have to ask, what the heck did I just join in on? You joined in on the latest venture in the High Republic Adventures comic book series. Hey?
And somehow it keeps getting worse.
Yes. We already have this kid here broadcast that he's essentially liberated an entire planet. This kid that's described in the comic as a youngling. Who's also named the Scarlet Skull. And that's his freedom fighter movement, who have to essentially apparently oppress the people that he's just liberated to keep it a big secret.
Do you think he's going to oppress anything? Because he just gave everything up. My brain hurts. This is the second page. Please help.
Yes, we're half an hour into this comic, and we've made it to page 6, but it's actually the second page of the actual comic. All right. Let's get through this.
Well, let's try. Okay. That's all wonderful, but I am reaching out because the warden is shutting up his force at Area 2. And he's coming to battle for a routine inspection and to borrow some of your soldiers.
What? No. Sorry, I need to read that in a different voice. I assume some of you have watched The Happening.
Yes.
What? No.
No.
Siege says there's so much wrong in these opening pages. It's kind of wild. Yes, it is.
You know, this will be like the Trolls movie. They're going to eat me. You know, exactly like that.
We can't just stand here as the uninformed observers.
Ace, let's continue, please. This is
Yes.
hurting my brain.
Yes, we're already at The Happening. We don't need to let it get to Dark Universe. I mean, that won't be necessary. Our forces are quite well inspected, actually. And we can send along anything he needs.
That wasn't a request. It was fuck. He's already on their way. Give him what he wants, or he'll probably murder you. Okay, later. Good luck.
What the actual fuck?
Okay, great. Give him what he wants or he'll probably murder you. Okay, great talk. Good luck. That is actually a legitimately funny line. I will say that. Maybe
Yeah,
not
but
necessarily.
I still feel stupid just for reading it out loud.
I know. Well, yeah, it's Kevin Scott. So Kevin Scott has the same writing acumen as Ed Wood did back when he made Plan 9 from Outer Space.
I think you might be insulting someone there. I am not sure who.
You're right. Ed Wood gave more of a shit about his work than Daniel Jose Older does.
For sure.
Oh boy. Killer Roy is mad. Ooh boy. Is this fucker Mickey Mouse? Yeah. The Grim Devourer, somewhere in Nihil space. And so, loyal listeners, the Scarlet Skull has returned and is feeling nostalgic tonight. I love how he immediately went to broadcasting his stupidity. Yet again, after almost getting caught, and just as a Nihil leader was talking to him and probably could have potentially, I don't know, might have been able to pick up that message that he's passing to the entirety of the occlusion zone.
Just ignoring that for a second, you think that the kid just got told that he's likely going to get shot in a few days at best. He will be feeling scared, some characterization.
That too.
No, he's talking shit again.
Yep.
And this is exactly why I want every character in this continuity to die.
Yep. Pickle Jar says Luke jumped headfirst in the Sarlacc pit to avoid this. Oh, that is a funny burn there. Paul says, finally, the fat Jedi, Ram. You know what? His nickname is Ramen. That's how he got fat.
It fits. And yes, in case anyone is wondering, yes, he is indeed very fat and very much a Jedi, supposedly.
Ram Jamaram, Jedi Padawan. Remembering that time when a group of other Scarlet Skulls raided a Nihil compound together to save an aging Jedi Master?
Do I voice the fat boy?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
And sure, things went haywire and exploded. When do they not? This is what makes you feel nostalgic, does it? Shit going tits up. To be fair, that's probably par for the course for Daniel Jose Older. Tits go fairly up. Things get titsed up very quickly when Daniel Jose Older is involved, but I digress.
Yeah. I am hating this kid so much.
I gave him the perfect voice.
Yes, you did.
Killer says, this Jedi to a youngling. Siege says, what is this radio host shit? It's like that thing from The Warriors, only 100 times dumber. Yep. Killer was mad, says, people don't call me Ram from nothing. Tactician says, I think we need a Berserk level Eclipse to deal with this High Republic era. Paul Schlock says his midichlorian count is not the only thing that's off the charts. Oh! Pickle Jar says his force powers is diabetes. Bro could probably give people diabetes with the way he's built.
Watch him being the most competent person in the room.
Yeah. Therm. Scissor Punch. Pirate. Yes, his name is Scissor Punch.
Yeah, fitting. Want to voice him or do I?
I'll voice him. Killer says, fire the writers now. This is goofy level writing. Yes, it is still not quite as awful as the worst of High Republic adventures, but this is still pretty bad.
This time he is trying. He is trying very hard.
Mm-hmm. Ram, is the hyperdrive almost ready?
Wait. Hang on, Term.
But man, those were good times. I miss those times. The times before you successfully liberated the planet? You dumb motherfucker.
The kid misses the time that everything was blowing up, people were dying. Do you think this kid should still be a Padawan or a youngling or whatever he is?
I don't, but Daniel Jose Older does.
Yeah, I can see that.
Pickle Jar says, is that Zoidberg on the left? I guess so. Tactician says, all I got to say is someone is not doing their job, be it the writers, the editors, or both. Yeah, keep in mind, and I get to point this out every single time, we had at least, I'm going to point this out again, because it needs to be pointed out every single time. So you have the writer, Daniel Jose Older, you have 2 letterers, so 3 people there. Then you have the editor, the assistant editor, so now we're up to 5 people. Then a senior editor, then an associate editor, so 7 people. Then the story group, which is 3 more people, so 10 people had to read the plot of this comic before it became publicly available. 10 people! And it's still fewer people than some of the earlier issues. I think we got up to 12 or 13 in the past people in some of the earlier issues.
What was the most we have seen? 13 or 14?
I think it was 12 or 13.
Either way, so many people reading this crap, or at least having to check it, and everyone said, yep, it's good to go.
Or says, Ram is the kind of person you feel before he arrives, and that is in zero gravity. Wonder what happens when he makes planetfall. It's probably, when he makes landfall, it's probably like Pluto with the moon, where Pluto and Pluto's moon both sort of go around each other in orbit. Killer says, then 10 people need to lose their jobs well in a non-DEI world. That world is soon coming. This shit is not sustainable for Disney. There's cases I've seen in terms of the sales where there were compilation sets from the High Republic era that sold 450 some issues. Total. That, as in the compilation set that included everything from volume or phase 1 or whatever, sold 458 copies. Star Wars performing that poorly.
Do you remember the first comics we read? that we also read the comments inside the site. And there were so many people defending this crap. They are nowhere to be found anymore.
Yeah. Tactician says, rather sure they just nod and greenline it. Going in, I don't care. I got my paycheck. Yep. Siege says, just got a local ad from a tire brand from a pothole, smart, funny, and topical. And making more sense in this comic.
Not hard.
Pickle Jar says 450. What a New York Times bestseller. Yeah, they still try to slap that on. The absolute best I've seen in terms of sales for anything High Republic related was the very first novel, which sold 150,000 copies, which would be a lot for other stuff, but this is Star Wars that sold 150,000 copies best, and it has sunk so rapidly and disastrously that some of the compilations, like I said, are selling less than 1,000.
I mean, if you tell me that it sold 100 million, that will be okay. That will be good. But not making even a single million, that was a loss right from the start.
Killer Was Mad says, come on, gotta reach that modern audience. Yeah, the one that's apparently all 450 of them. All right. Let's continue.
Yeah.
It's just, there's a Nihil attack ship approaching.
What?
I would do anything to have those times back, in fact. Anything. Well, you could just tell the Nihil that you have successfully taken over the planet, and you would absolutely have those times back.
Kid, tell me, what the fuck do you want? You were happy under the Nihil or not? Because I am having doubts now.
When even the freedom fighters fighting against the Nihil are claiming that they were happier under Nihil rule when they were fighting against them than they are now that they're in charge, that is a damning statement about the cause that you're fighting for.
Do we have a cause? Because I am not sure anymore.
That would be like the rebels in Syria. Assume the rebels in Syria got into power and then they decided to go, you know what, we should just bring back the Syrian government so we can fight them again because times were better when we were fighting the Syrian government. That's the level of disastrous fuck-up you have to achieve in order to seriously push the things that kid there is pushing. Tactician says, I think modern audience can read, given they were smart enough to buy Concord. Steve.
Oh.
See, yeah, about that. Siege says, pickle jars. Question not only their ability to read, but their ability to understand the words they read. Killer says, the only thing the modern audience can seem to read is the Communist Manifesto. Well, the thing is, if they could actually read that, if they actually read the Communist Manifesto, they would realize just how much of a joke it makes their whole movement look. Because one of the ways I've been countering the so-called members of the modern audience is by pointing out just how the Communist Manifesto fundamentally disagrees with the shit they try to say it pushes. Like they say, it pushes for a system without a government. Okay, so why does the Communist Manifesto lay out a plan which explicitly states giving all the industry, all the programs and whatnot to the government to rule? You know, and also this is even funnier when you realize that the Marxist position is believing in dialectical materialism, which is to say they believe that one of the things is that, of course, power is exclusively, or that basically economic power equates power in terms of policy. So, in other words, giving the government all the economic power means that the government now has complete and total totalitarian rule over your society. If you were to look at it through a dialectical materialist lens, the way they do.
Something is not making sense.
Yeah. I could also point out the fact that Marx basically argued a whole bunch of... here's another thing. If you actually read the Communist Manifesto, it explicitly argues that people like Vosh are reactionaries as well. The reason why is, it actually goes on to talk about the so-called bourgeoisie and petty bourgeoisie socialists. And one of the things it talks about is their whole position is they want a rule for thee, but not for me. So they talk about socialist policies for everyone but them. They don't want it done to their business, which is something that Vosh was arguing over and over wouldn't work to his business model back when he debated Stefan Molyneux. That was his big argument is, well, socialist policies work, but they wouldn't work for me, so I'm against it being applied to me. In other words, Marx was pointing out how people that argue that are reactionaries in the Marxist sense. So, in other words, Vosh is a reactionary according to the standards of the Marxists in the 1840s.
Oh.
Well, I don't think people care about facts anymore, Ace.
Correct. They don't. There's also the really funny bit where also I have to point out, since as a distraction from this, that Marx also openly advocated for supporting the bourgeoisie in Germany in the Communist Manifesto, which is another point that really pisses off progressives. Now, he did this.
What doesn't piss a progressive off at this point?
Yeah, but the reason why he was doing that, and this actually gets further explained in The Principles of Communism, which is a separate work, which was written by Engel and has even weirder and wilder stuff in it. But the point is Marx pushed that notion. Marx and Engels both pushed the notion of supporting the bourgeoisie in Germany because they believed that capitalists would lower the standard of living, which would be good for the revolution. In other words, the Marxist position in the Communist Manifesto was unironically pro-human suffering.
Well,
by their own fucking admission. Which is...
I mean, it is not exactly far from the truth.
Yeah, but like I said, even then, the Principle of Communism, which came out, I think a year before that, is even wilder, like I said. The stuff that Engels seriously tried to argue in that is fucking hilarious the moment you actually analyze it. In fact, you want us to actually go on this tangent a little bit more, should we go back to the comic?
I mean... I want to be done with the comic as fast as I can, but I don't want to go back to it.
All right, so I'll make this really quick, some of the examples. So, Principle of Communism, they actually describe the difference between various types of being poor. So, the difference between what's the difference between proletariat or working class and slaves, for example. And you want to know what the communist position on slavery was?
Oh God!
They actually
what was it?
They unironically argued that slavery offered a higher standard of living because, in the Marxist understanding, because slaves were considered property, that meant that slavery, the rich had to add an incentive to keep them alive individually. So, in other words, the Marxist argument is that, or the Marxist position is that slavery is a welfare system for the slave.
That just tells you something about communism, don't you think?
Yeah. And even spicier, if you actually think about it even more, because especially if you talk about the modern Marxist understanding of privilege, what Engels was arguing in the 1840s is that, for example, Engels argued that slaves in the pre-Civil War U.S. had slave privilege in comparison to the working class.
Wow! If you say that today in public, you are going to get lynched.
Yes. Which is why which is why I love highlighting the exact quote where he makes this argument to communists so they can't actually run away from it.
I want these guys to read this out loud in public. I want to see what happens.
So yeah, there's that. There's also the fact that another thing they argue is that under capitalism, the standard of living deteriorates for the working class over the time. This was the argument that they made, that the communist revolution was inevitable because of that. they argued that the free market also was a inhibitor of standards of living and efficiency, that if they just got rid of the free market, that it would actually increase efficiency because they could produce as much as they want without the free market determining whether or not they can get away with producing a profit or not. But here's the thing, though, I'll take that even a step further, is if you actually analyze it, what that means is they're arguing that the standards of living for the working class now are worse than they were in the 1840s. And they already argued that the working class had it worse than slaves back then.
Press X to doubt, please.
And that actually leads to one other really funny, spicy thing. Another thing if you think about it, is according to the Marxist understandings of that, what that means is that the Marxists believe that the Union in the American Civil War was oppressing slaves by freeing them.
Wow, that is something you just said. Let's leave it at that.
But again, since Marxists were, by their own understanding, pro-human suffering, they still supported it anyways. Just to make it as clear how fucking stupid Marxism is.
Ace, at this point, I don't think anyone, even the ones that made communism, know what it is supposed to be about.
Yeah, it's well, that's the thing. A lot of them will try to say, but it's just an economic system, except it's not. It's got an entire interpretation of history built upon it that it kind of needs to actually try to function in the first place, assuming that it functions, and it doesn't. But yeah. Pickle Jars says, Communist Manifesto, written by a rich guy who never worked a day in his life. Yeah, it's really funny when you realize that Friedrich Engels was a factory owner. And when communists try to argue, when communists speak of capitalists, they speak of factory owners. So according to them, Friedrich Engels was a capitalist. And Marx, who was writing for some of the largest newspaper publications in the world at the time, was also a capitalist.
So that just means that what is happening today with people with far too much money and far too much time on their hands crying over other people being mean is exactly what happened when communism was made. Just fat rich people with too much time to screw people over.
That's not if you ask me, though, that's not the spiciest thing that really you can talk about that really make fun of communists, though. That would have to deal with a certain other ideology, one that's been very critical of communism. That was known as a thing back in the 30s and 40s in Europe. You can probably guess which one at that point.
Well, yes.
So, I'll be real quick about this before we actually get into the comic, because this comic is god-awful, and we're only 8 pages in. But okay, so here's one more final thing here. A final nail in the coffin to the topic at hand. So you know how communists like to argue all the time that it wasn't real communism, that it was state capitalism every single time you point out a case of communism failing spectacularly?
Sorry, I got called for a second. I missed what you were saying.
All right, so you know how one of the excuses that communists these days like to use is it wasn't real communism, that it was state capitalism. Whenever you bring up the Soviet Union or China or Vietnam or North Korea or Cuba or Ethiopia or any of the other many examples where communism failed. You want to know what the funny thing is? Whenever these idiots are making that argument, what they are unironically doing, through their own sheer ignorance, is arguing that they think Hitler was right about communism. Because
he was.
The Hitlerian critique on communism was that it wasn't real communism, that it was a capitalist plot to gain more power.
I mean, again, to a point, he was. Not exactly correct, but it was, to get power and screw the people again.
I do think these idiots do actually legitimately buy what they're saying is a thing. So I do say, so the idea that it's just a plot to gain power, I don't actually buy. But I will say this, though. Telling the communists to their face that they're unironically arguing that Hitler was right about communism is a really funny thing to do whenever they pull the whole "it wasn't real communism" thing.
I bet the reactions are really funny.
They are. Alright, so let's read some of the comments and then get back into this. Pickle Jar says, communism, suffering shared by all. Tactician says, the classic debate. Read the comic or not. Pickle Jar says, we are all slaves to the state and communism. Yeah, because if your labor, if society as a whole, if the collective as a whole is entitled to your labor, then even under the standards of dialectical materialism, you don't actually have rights because because your economic power is not actually allowed to be given, just kept by you. It's beholden by the collective at that point. Killer says, again, they aren't stupid. They understand human nature and how to manipulate it. They are, by definition, evil. Fair point. Siege says, by their metric, apartheid was better.
Oh, I mean, they are saying so at this point.
So yeah, the modern communist position is that Nelson Mandela did everything wrong.
Wait. They are saying that apartheid is better. They wanted to help make those, for example, those dorms that were only for certain minorities and one for white people. I am not going to forget that shit.
Yep. Killer. Okay, so Siege says, okay. Without suffering, how could they justify their insanity? Good point. Tactician says, when your life is so good, you have to burn the world down to give yourself something to do. Seed says, without suffering, they would have no profession. Tactician says, get the popcorn ready. All right, so let's continue from here. Urn Pirate.
I mean, Orn never speaks. Just
Yeah.
So I can. I was going to say I can voice him and the pirate if you want.
Yep.
Okay. Well, and the pirate. Give me a second.
If you not present your transport clearance, you will be boarded.
Zylkeen Pirate. And again, we will present them to you once our useless loading grunt retrieves them from the back. Hear that, loading grunt? Any time now would be great for the credentials. We just picked up that shipment from Utapau, which was the whole point of coming out to the OC. So if we don't fix the hyperdrive, we'll be boarded by the Nihil.
I'm on it, but
It was the camaraderie, really. That's what I miss, having backup when I need it most.
Wait, the kid is still on the air when they are having this conversation with the Nihil?
Absolute galaxy brain move. Not only does it kind of hint that they themselves might be, not loyal to the Nihil, but it also is evidence to the Nihil that, hey, there's reason to believe that one planet we thought is actually under our control isn't actually under our control.
Can you please tell me why in the cockpit you have this with the Nihil going on? Oh my...
Every time... Okay, Tactician says, every time I see the name of these bad guys, I keep thinking, Nihility, not Nihil. Siege is laughing. Holy shit. Yep.
Okay, let's go back. I want this done with. Holy fuck.
very well. Boarding it is.
Boarding won't be possible, I'm afraid. Hurry up, Rep. Wait, why wouldn't boarding be possible? That is going to cause so many fucking questions. Boarding won't be possible. Why? Are you arguing that there's no way to actually enter or leave the ship even when it's docked? That's going to leave... Wouldn't that be a fucking potential emergency that you might need to deal with? Something that you might want help from other ships to help you with.
I want to ask you a quick question. Let's see how do you answer. Well, first, a preamble. Are the Nihil the evil guys, supposedly?
Yes.
Okay. Considering how this comic wants to paint them, the Nihil will do what if you tell them, I am not going to let you board me?
They're going to board you anyways.
Either that, or they are starting to shoot in a second. Yep. Why are these people alive?
I don't know.
And worst of it all is, you are telling your engineer, besides the fucking console, to hurry it up. Mm-hmm. If this is not telling the Nihil that you are trying to escape or do something shitty, I don't know what it is. But no one is shooting at this fucking ship. I am very fucking angry, sorry.
Alright, let's continue the stupidity. We've got to move, Ram. Several large crates full of blaster rifles and detonators will be very difficult to explain to these Nihil.
The comms are still up.
I know!
Oh my... Okay, let me read. Oh. I'm working on it. 1 second.
Like right now, this is a time in which Jedi backup would come in extremely handy. This moment.
Oh my fucking god, Ace! Okay. Oh shit! The comms were still up! I was joking! I thought the gear had got the com.
I know!
Oh, okay. I will go on and ask no more questions.
Ah, well.
Prefer to be. Hey!
Why is the guy that has only said this whole time is now suddenly going we at jumping to light speed?
I was going to say something that will get you demonetized, so no.
Okay.
Why? I mean, it is true. He has never said a fucking word, just and he's now making we. What is he? Largo. Give me a second, please.
All right, let me read some of the comments while I give you a second. Tactician says, you know these characters could save themselves so much trouble if they didn't talk as much and learn to turn off comms. Yes. Killer says, I'm sorry for whoever bought this piece of trash. Yep. I'm losing brain cells. Still not as bad as a conversation with Dev, but it's almost as bad. Yeah. Tactician says, Disney Star Wars, don't ask questions, just pay money and praise it mindlessly like a robot. Paul says, it was the will of the Force. No, don't remind me of it. It was the will of the Force.
Oh, no. Oh.
Siege says,
look how massacred my kid Yoda. Fuck.
Siege says, the writing hurts so much everything happens because the writer says so. Typical low-T crap, let the fat man work. You know, that is, if there's any way he's going to be able to lose weight, it's going to be through work and not eating so much.
I think he can do either.
Siege says, why do they always think arguing is building tension as opposed to blaster fire? Good question. Maybe because they've never actually had to be in a fight before.
By the way, Killer was mad said exactly what I was going to say, but it is only in live chat. Of course, in top chat, it is not appearing.
Sadly. But yeah, I do see it. She says, gay as shit ever. Killer says, I'm going to say it. The characters were woke.
If you want to say it that way, okay.
Tactician says...
Okay, I am back whenever you want to go to it.
All right, Tactician says, yeah, being under fire trying to repair the engines would be better for tension than what this is. Mm-hmm. Siege says, Lurch has returned to us. Radio silence doesn't exist to these people. And Paul says, didn't know they had an all-you-can-eat buffet at the Jedi Temple.
They do now.
Yep, courtesy of Jedi Master Buckets of Blood, I am sure.
Oh my... You know, yes, it makes sense because he is the medic.
He's the medic. He feeds you the poisons so he can provide you the antidotes.
Okay.
And yes, for those who don't know, yes, there is a Jedi Master in the High Republic known as Buckets of Blood, who we were introduced to pretty much right after regular civilians were referring to the Jedi as agents of chaos.
Oh, yeah. Still, one of the best characters in the whole comic. That should tell you a lot.
Him and Geode are close to the top spots of best characters.
But Geode, because he is actually competent and doesn't talk.
Yes. Killer was mad, says medic. Siege says he's just big boned, respect his authority. Polish says agents of chaos like the Joker. Geode is the most stoic of characters.
Indeed. Okay, shall we get back to it?
Geode has an absolutely crystalline personality to him.
Sturdy like no other.
Siege says, yes, buckets, good times with the Rock. And Taxation says, I'm waiting for Darth Mickey to be revealed as the true villain all along, behind all these questionable events. God, I'm just thinking of when they do Kingdom Hearts 4, they're going to have Star Wars brought into it, aren't they?
Oh, please, no, holy fuck.
We're going to have High Republic characters in Kingdom Hearts 4, aren't we?
Well, if they do, that series is dead to me.
Killer was mad, says, the Force was just the friends we made along the way. Paul says, Rey in Kingdom Hearts. Oh, no!
Fuck you!
At least if it was someone like Princess Leia from the original trilogy, you can make the argument that she's a Disney princess now.
Wow. Yes, she is. I am so very sorry for her.
Siege says Geode did nothing wrong because Geode did nothing.
Well, he did more than a lot of other characters in this series.
Mm. All right.
Well, let's get back to it. Okay. Know that we want them for bucks? Listen to this transmission. Gabi needs our help. When we finish this run, we need to head to Palo.
Like, lots of Jedi backup right now.
You guys have been heading it all the whole fucking time. What? Go ahead. Sorry.
Let's go get our boy Gavi.
After a brief stop on Eridol to pick up some friends.
Lonisa City, Valo. Alright, Scarlet Skulls, this is... They're even painting their faces red like skulls.
Wow. This doesn't look like someone that is going to help you.
You know, there's so many ways in which this is fucking heresy. One is the Red Skull reference, which is especially egregious because, unlike this is the Marvel comic, this is a Dark Horse comic.
Dark Horse is regretting a lot of things right now.
Yes. Paul Schlock says, "Oh my God, Redface! I just had a funny idea. Imagine the shit show if they imagine the shit show that Disney would face if we basically told them that this was just another form of blackface.
Oh, that will be
Use
very,
their
very
rules
funny.
against them.
I mean, if you want to be a dick, you can say that this looks like some tribal war paints from the Native Americans.
Yeah. Well, depends on which tribe we're talking about, but Paul Schlock says mocking the resistance of Native Americans.
I told you.
Killer says, looks like a Halloween costume. Yeah, Disney. My culture is not your fucking costume. Tactician says, the red face is making me think of Castaway the more I look at it. Wilson! Killer says, no, they must leave Kingdom Hearts alone. If we live in a timeline where that happens, I will do like Farsworth and Futurama and leave this godforsaken planet. Killer says, bruh. Paul says they'll definitely add Rey. She was on top of the Star Wars pyramid in the new Lego game. They'll add her. What they'll do is they'll add Rey, and they'll have the hub in Kingdom Hearts be the Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel.
Wow. But I can see it. I can see it.
Oh, you know you can see it.
Ironic. That place will make them lose more money after it is closed.
All right, let's see. Siege is laughing. Killer says, Wilson! Maybe that's actually what's going on. Maybe this character is actually just hallucinating and has painted red faces on a bunch of Star Wars soccer balls and is talking to the characters. That would actually be more interesting a plot development than what we have gotten so far. It would even potentially explain why the Nihil aren't bothered by these transmissions, because this kid is legitimately nuts. They know he is nuts, and they're just laughing at him, and him communicating with the Nihil leader is just him hallucinating more.
I mean, can you imagine it? It could work. A kid lost in a forgotten colony in a random world that has no other person. It will be an interesting story, at least.
Yes. Yes, it would. Tactician says, you know, it being called the High Republic, it makes way more sense than that. Yep. Yeah, let's go ahead and continue. All right, Scarlet Skulls, this is it. MOPPOG, which sounds like the genre for an MMO game more than anything.
We have a form. I am just going to say...
They call me Mr. Tebbs. All right.
Okay. I think it is an old woman. I'm not sure. I can voice her, I think.
Mm-hmm.
What do we know about, and when do we start to fight?
Where do we gather? All my explosives are planted and ready to go!
Oh, stars. I don't think the freedom fighters are sane.
I don't think so either. Breebick is apparently the explosives expert, so that's lovely.
That is a crazy woman, I think.
Yes. Whoa. Everyone calm down. We don't know when the Nihil will get here or when the fighting will start, my pog. Could be any moment. Breebrick, I told you no explosives. You and Ford are supposed to lead the kids along to the evac route into the woods. Tebs, don't gather yet. First we need to... Hey, don't you think that girl you were best friends with who joined the Nihil will be here? Diggle Draggart?
Breivik, that's none of our business.
That face is the face I expect Daniel Jose Older to make whenever you ask him to actually address any of the plot holes in the High Republic.
Oof.
Paul
I don't
says,
think there is enough time in the world to address every single one.
I'm going to try. Like I said, my plan is to compile all the stupidity that we cover in the entirety of the High Republic and put it into one massive video. That's probably going to be longer than any... That is going to be longer than any video I have ever made on my channel so far.
If it is anything less than 12 hours, good luck.
Yeah, it's probably going to take a multi-day event, multiple days just to edit down. But once it is, it's probably going to be... Even if it gets just a handful of... Even if it gets, say, 1,000 or so views, if it takes 12 hours to make, that is so many ad breaks... that I could probably turn a profit into YouTube full-time just from that one video.
Well, technically speaking, you are getting paid by Disney. And probably you are getting paid more than this shit costs to make.
Yeah. Paul says, okay, so Killer says, all the characters look androgynous except the old men. What the art style is missing is Steven Universe type of mouth. Siege says, out of nowhere, do you think that girl you like will be there? Jesus, that's right. Yeah, that too. To be fair, it's not as cringe as the marriage subplot that we had to deal with for much of High Republic Adventures earlier, where these two lesbian characters were talking with their friends about marrying one another without either of them knowing it.
Fuck, that was a bad sitcom.
And we're getting a special wedding issue as a result of that at some point. So, this is still bad, but it's not as bad.
And that is saying something at this point.
Yes. I don't drig it. Master Kumpar?
Remember, well, one maybe even though sometimes he lost from the horse is never lost from you.
So why is the kid leading the revolution here, and not the Jedi Master, who we see is still alive and well?
Because the Jedi are incompetent in general in this universe?
They are? But even this is fucking breaking the chain of command?
I don't know what to tell you, man. The kid should be nowhere near this place.
So we get another character here who resembled the crazy witch doctor.
Do you want me to voice the spider monkey?
Yes.
Okay.
Prep! Prep! Wait, they're here already? They're approaching the planet?
No, man! They're approaching the room!
They gave the warden a Sigma grind set face here.
You know what? I am going to play some Mega Man X after this.
When you
But
make
you know,
your bad guys look far more fucking heroic than the actual heroes, you know something's gone wrong with the heart style.
What I was going to say, at least this guy was semi-competent whenever he was around. If this kid is still alive when he leaves,
Yeah.
oh, I am going to lose it.
Yeah. Siege says, they were so effed before even starting. Yep. Siege says, do we know this girl? I don't think I've actually seen her before. Killer says, the 4 kids excuse tires me. We didn't grow up with this kind of slop. Yep. Paul says, because Star Wars is for kids. Fuck that bullshit. I mean, yes, Star Wars has always been a family-friendly show, media, technically, which is to say that in the 70s you could legitimately lop a dude's arm off with a lightsaber, see the severed arm and the blood spatter on the ground, and still get a PG rating because people actually were based in the 70s. But yeah, saying it for kids now is, well, we've seen the kind of cringe that and it more often than not is just an excuse to say, but we think kids are idiots, therefore they'll accept anything you give them. I mean, if that were the case, then why is it that so many of the shows that were kids shows that tend to be successful have a habit of actually being well written? You know, shows like the Batman animated series, which even adults tend to like for good reason, or the original Avatar show.
I mean, people at least tried before. I am not sure they are trying here, other than not puking whenever they read this shit.
Or, and this is a big part of the reason why anime was a big thing back in the 90s, shows like Dragon Ball Z. I mean, Dragon Ball Z treated kids a lot more maturely even back in the 90s than the 90s kids shows did at that time in the West. Which is why anime took off right out the gate. And you had shows like Gundam Wing and Sailor Moon taking off as well.
And in those shows, you know what happened? A lot of fucking people died.
Yes. Well, in Dragon Ball, they got Z in the original Ocean dub. They got sent to the next dimension, but it was pretty obvious what that meant by sent to the next dimension. And you also had characters who had their arms cut off even in the Ocean dub. They did, however, successfully at least censor some of the nudity that was in the DBZ. You know, when Gohan transforms into an ape and then transforms back, they have a very conveniently placed tree branch or whatever.
Yeah, we can show people blowing up into smithereens, but we cannot show that.
To be fair, I can actually. To be fair, that is kind of weird, at least over here. But Japan be Japan, so
they have their strange priorities.
Yeah. Let's see. The bad guys look like that meme. My name is Skylar White. Teachers, I'll give some credit if everyone dies. Paul says that guy must wear a size 48 shoes. Yeah, the size of his feet. Holy shit. But to be fair, he's supposed to be a bat person. Wait a second. Now thinking it over, if he's supposed to be a bat person, does that mean that this dude is Star Wars Batman?
I mean...
All right, let's continue.
That will be interesting. Oh no! The lesbians are back.
Oh god, they are. And the artwork is still not doing them justice either because this is not good artwork. You can already tell the eyes, they've got lazy eyes, some of them too.
Oh yeah. And just as you mentioned it, let me get in character. You are getting married? Wait. You are leaving the order. Wait. Am I invited?
Yes, and of course you are.
We just didn't know how to send an invite to a random pirate ship somewhere in the OC, you know?
And also, look at how fucking ugly their faces look.
The inside fits the outside, I think.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, we had at least one or two issues without mentioning the marriage. Why bring it here?
Good question.
I mean, this guy, you say that the message was asking for help, and you are talking about these two getting married.
Paul
This is
says,
wasting time.
Paul says, did Ram get stung by a bee in the second panel?
Oh shit! That face. Wow.
Mate, please let him be allergic. Please let him be allergic. Please let him be allergic.
I wish. Shall we go on?
Yes.
Okay. Quite enough, but does that mean you can come with me to help Valo? It's not the wedding, Ram. It's that we are facing an imminent Nihil attack here on Area 2.
The Tarkans hold all the cards when it comes to the local population, but we still don't know if they'll fight alongside us, and right now it's not looking great. Half of the tanks encircling us are Iridu forces, mostly Tarkan. The rest are Nihil. That's probably a good sign that shit's gone to shit.
Ace, one question. They have the city under lockdown. Why did a ship come down?
That too! That too, but you know what? If we're going to be talking about this from a... But let's actually... That too, that doesn't make sense either. Why the fuck are there no anti-air guns set up by the Iridu forces or the Nihil? How the fuck is this planet... I suppose you could argue that maybe the Nihil didn't know that their ship was supposed to be a smuggler ship and just let it land anyways, even though they're laying siege to said city. So yeah, it still doesn't make sense in that fucking sense.
I sometimes hate noticing things.
Yes. But the fact that they're going, these tanks are all facing us, but we don't know what their intentions are yet, is fucking funny. But okay, so let's actually ignore the sheer plot hole of how the fuck did they get onto the planet's surface and address something else, right? So they're not sure they can hold this planet. It's probably going to be a losing battle anyways. Let's think about this strategically, right? I know that's a little bit of a tall order because we're asking Daniel Jose Older to understand strategy.
We are asking him to think.
The current strategic situation right now is that these forces are split up. You have successfully got one planet under your control. You have this one where the city is currently under siege, and you only have a handful of people to potentially defend it. You could potentially, if you decided to just let this city be, you could potentially retake it later on. If you stay, you're pretty much guaranteed for a fight at some point anyways. So if you let the city be, the local civilians are less likely to actually get hurt because there's less likely to be fucking fighting in the streets because you decide to stay and fight. But you know what? Let's ignore that and talk about this strategically. Why leave your forces split up like this if you have any real chance of victory here or on the other planet? If you have a real chance of victory on the other planet, the more sensible move would be to evacuate this one for the immediate time being, go to the other one, successfully fight off the Nihil there, while some of their forces, if you're lucky, might not even notice that you've left this city in the first place. So they'll have a disproportionate number of their troops guarding an undefended city that they might not necessarily know about. And so you'd have a greater chance of success at the other planet in the first place, and then you could potentially, after defeating the Nihil there, come back and have more forces to actually do something here.
I mean, what you say sounds exactly like a normal person will think, at least with some knowledge of strategy, but we are talking about a very special kind of person.
Yes. We are.
But besides all that, remember, we freed a whole planet in one skirmish.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this guy gives the slightest shit. Which makes these tanks here, this possible danger, sound to me like he wants to make this look like, oh, the danger is coming. There is no danger. There is nothing here. It is all going to be well with just 4 or 5 people defending the city.
Mm-hmm. Killer says, noticing is one of our greatest weapons, unfortunately. Yeah, isn't it? Siege says, I also thought that was a river or something. Yes, but it's not exact. But a lot of tanks, of course, have the ability to cross rivers and whatnot in Star Wars lore, so I'll let that slide. Nico says, shit, I missed most of the stream, though I'm sure a lot of it, the usual pain. Yes, it has been. You have no idea. It's still not as bad as the very worst things High Republic related, but we're still we are an hour and a half into this stream and are barely halfway through the comic.
Nico, let me tell you that I have lost a lot of will to live today.
Ugh, the art is cursed, says Nico. The art is the least of this comic's problems, although we are noticing it too. Paul says, you missed the Communist Manifesto talk. Yes, he did.
Yeah, true.
Which could probably be, if nothing else, could be made into its own little separate video, just taking the audio from this stream. So, hooray there, I suppose. But let's continue the pain.
Yeah, let's hopefully finish this. Whoa, I didn't realize. Okay, that's all right. The pirates and I will...
All right, so I want to stop this for a brief moment. Go back to the previous panel. He didn't realize that there was a fucking army of tanks surrounding the city. And he didn't notice the symbols on at least half of them, showing that they weren't Nihil, but instead the tanks of Iridu.
I want to reiterate. These people came down in a ship. They had to fucking scan the place they were going to land. That is the basic thing to do.
Yes.
Why are we having this conversation in the comic?
Because we're dealing with Daniel Jose Older as a writer. That's why.
My good man, a kid will write something better than you.
Yes, he would.
Well, let's continue. Do you want me to voice the next character?
Yeah, go ahead and voice Farzala, and I'll continue to voice Court.
Okay. Now, hold on. We didn't say no one of us could go. Just that all of us can go. Right now, it's a stalemate here, and there is no sign of it breaking.
We can send you Farzala for a little mission.
Are you fucking telling me that you said we are fucked and you are still going to split even more?
At least in this case, this would actually be this would be more strategically sound than the previous plan. So I'll actually give kudos here a little bit. Because you could...
In this case, we should do, as you said, we all should leave.
Yes. Compared to, though, no one leaving, though, this is still a better situation. Siege says, stalemate with the... Yeah, I know. They've completely surrounded us. There's only 4 of us, but there's 2 entire armies of them. It's a stalemate.
Ace, I am developing hate again.
Good. Use your feelings of aggression. Let the hate flow through you.
Because this is reminding me of the fucking Galactic Bake Off.
Yes, it is. Killer says, ew, look at that smile on the fat dude. Yeah, holy shit! That is horrible.
Indeed. Oh my man Jabba the Hutt.
POV, you're a box of donuts.
Oh, is why.
He's sitting there thinking to himself, now I can unleash my inner law enforcement on this box of donuts. And you know, the funny thing is, me suggesting this guy's law enforcement is probably going to piss off Daniel his elder more than anything else I could ever say here. Let's anyways continue the madness.
Yes, please.
But you have to be back. But you have to get him back in time for the wedding.
Oh my fucking god! I want to commit self-delete.
The sheer level of self-centeredness.
Daniel, my man, you are trying to write heroes, people that are the protagonists, the good guys, those that think of others before they think of themselves. And when there is about to be a war that could kill thousands at least, you get this fucking bitch to say, be back for the wedding.
Nico says, what the fuck? What happened to Afro and Pink Bitch? Killer says, fat guy POV. You give children hormone oh, God, no. Paul says, priorities. Nico says, donuts. Woodworm says, Lamau, yep. Paul says, all tension lost, yep. Siege says, typical women, zero accountability.
Okay, let's continue the fucking pain. We want you there, too, if you are not the two seasons in the galaxy. And here we come back to that beautiful moment, the Galactic Bake-Off. Wizard.
Lanissa City Provisional Governor Gavi Takatan. Wait, his name is Tacky Tankin? Seriously?
Wow.
Yes, I'm sure this kid's... No, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, you were about to demonetize yourself.
Yeah, I was about to make a spicy comment about what the Jedi Order do to the younglings.
Oh.
The High Republic Jedi Order. Because, you know,
Yes.
woke organization and all that. Lanissa City Provisional Governor Gavi Taki Taken reporting for duty. Your wooden ship, sir?
A bit young for that, aren't we? And who may this be?
These are, sir, are my top lieutenants.
Why are they dressed like they are in the century-old death cult? And what is the status of the resistance here on Valo?
I'm so glad you asked. This is also the resistance here on Valo. It's like a... Oh, fucking God! Are you the resistance, or are you the Nihil command to follow? Yes.
Oh. We started with this saying we have to keep this quiet. Go fuck yourself.
Nico 40K says, "It's over, Bananakin. I have the high cholesterol."
Oh my fucking
Paul
god.
says to Nico, you underestimate my blood pressure. So he says, how woke can this comic get? We're learning. We're reaching new levels of woke that should not be possible. What if the real resistance was the Nihil we recruited along the way?
Well, technically speaking.
Killer says the resistance, people with paint on their faces wearing black. Yes. Paul says, man, it's so cringe having a kid do this. Yep.
I also want to point out, in case anyone just missed it, we have 2 elderly people and 2 kids in here. I don't count the Jedi Master because technically being old is not exactly a problem for him.
Mm-hmm.
And they are in front of a small fucking Nihil army.
Mm-hmm.
What was the plan here?
All right, let's see how this goes. I think you already shouted the what, so we can skip that.
Yeah, but the child is still talking. Fuck.
You see, our forces were quite depleted after a joint Jedi pirate attack a few months ago. Vark Tarplin and his loyal retinue did not survive. Alas. Plus, we had an active resistant movement on our hands. A full-blown rebellion in the works.
Indeed. A quandary.
So instead of hunting down the resistance, I sent my best Nihil to become it.
What?
And it worked. Each infiltrated a different branch and quickly rose to leadership roles. The people of Velo still have no idea they are effectively being ruled by Nihil.
It.
Oh no!
How can you be this threat? Oh, almost. I didn't say it.
Oh my god, this is the funniest shit because of how stupid it is.
And this was one of the few competent guys.
Oh, they have done him dirty. This is what it's like watching a D&D session where where the party is rolling nothing but natural 20s.
Or depending on how you look at it, it is all ones.
Yes. Killer was mad. Says, see, this is why I only read back issues and manga now. This type of writing irks me, and I want these people to go out of work. Me too. So he says, and this comic is a colossal pile of shit. Yep. Okay, this bad idiot deserves everything he has coming to him. I maintain that I will give this comic credit if they all die. Killer says, the resistance from Wish.
I was hoping for something to happen to this kid. I know how bad it sounds, but I think I have a right to wish for that much.
Yes, you do. Let's continue the pain. All right, leaving hyperspace in 3, 2, whoa!
Isn't that the Starhopper? Yes.
Incoming transmission.
Do not authorize this ship. Identify yourself immediately.
How about you identify yourself, Budzo?
Excuse me. What is this?
We're pirates! We keep your fragile, goofy Nihil economy alive by running black market missions across the OZ while you losers pretend to have a functional government. Now identify yourself. Wait a second. Why the fuck would you need a black market in a state of anarchy? At that point, it's just a market, you dumb motherfucker.
Oh, I am. I am losing whatever is left, Ace.
Ew, that face is killer. Yes, that face. Nico says, sees ugly face. Joe Biden after his nap. Which ugly face? Because we're going to have to be more specific at this point. There's so many of them.
I think all of them.
Yes. Paul says, this would not work. It reminds me of that scene from Kenobi show where that chick bluffed her way by claiming to be the security guy's commanding officer. Yeah, that's also stupid.
Did you not see the kid paving his way out of a fucking execution?
Siege says the guy reacts through the hologram as though he's scared. Christ, this woke shit.
Oh, shall we continue then?
Yes.
Hi, this is Hodar. Stand by.
What the fuck? He just buys it? No! No!
This ship should be space dust.
It should! These characters should be looking at her going, you dumb motherfucker, you just got us all killed.
I mean, at least they are looking like we should be dead right now.
Mm-hmm. What?
The only correct panel in this fucking comic.
Killer was mad, says kill me. Yep. Let's continue. What? I'm fed up. Yes, and that's a brilliant excuse to use to just casually throw everyone's lives into danger. But you know what the punchline is? This little stun of hers is probably going to succeed spectacularly. And we're going to be pointing out just how stupid it is momentarily, aren't we? Let's check.
Yeah, I have gone to the next page and it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think both the characters are mine, so let me suffer, please.
Excuse me, Mr. Warden, sir? Not now, Pagant. It's just, there is an unauthorized ship here. They say they are I am talking to someone who maybe will be the youngest Nihil tactical genius ever. Deal with it yourself, Pagant. Very well, sir.
The youngest Nihil tactical genius ever.
This is so fucking painful, man. Oh. Again, this is for children, but I think you are calling the children so stupid, so ignorant, that you are insulting the whole human race at this point.
Yes.
Let me continue. Let's suffer through the last pages, please.
Yes.
You remind me of one of my lieutenants, you know. Same she couldn't make it, no. What were we saying?
I was suggesting we send my lieutenants out to their respective positions to prepare for the next steps.
Of course. But I've seen the platoon of my Nihil with each of them so they can point out any known agitators and execute them.
Is this guy secretly not falling for it and is just letting the kid divide his own forces up so that they can't help each other?
I don't think our dear writer is as smart as to do that.
I don't, but I'm just...
I mean, if he's doing it, holy fuck, I am going to praise that move.
Yes. Not that I think it's particularly necessary because of how much they outnumber them, but, you know.
I mean, at least it is smart. I don't think it is smart. It is a tactic. We haven't seen much of that. Okay.
Unidentified vessel. Unidentified pirate vessel. You do not have permission to be in this region.
Yeah, because we never asked for permission. Thank you for admitting why you're a dumbass.
You could have said almost anything else. Well, let me read the next thing because this is the only one that makes sense. Prepare to be boarded.
What? Did you not hear what we say we're pirates?
Are we really doing this?
You don't board us, Slimo. We board you.
Yes. Very Soviet Russia of you. We are indeed really doing this. Huh? My only regret is that I came to gather more troops for the area of occupation, and it seems that won't be possible given your circumstances.
Yes, well...
In fact, quite the opposite.
Oh?
I might need to divert some forces here to make sure things are under control. No?
Sir, I can assure you that won't be necessary.
Oh? Go on.
We can simply convince the resistance fighters here that they'll be going undercover to fight on your side and sabotage your forces. But really, you can just use them as laser fodder.
By the boy, the son. You really are a genius.
Deet, deet. Thwack. Ambush! Warden! Send reinforcements! Jedi and pirates have boarded us! This kid keeps blowing stuff up! Warden! Warden! They set the speeder on fire! Warden! Aye! Click.
No, he wasn't acting. Oh. Oh, okay, that page at least looks nice.
To be continued. Please let it just be this kid getting killed and then immediately going to Sage says, "Oh, for fuck's sake." Paul says, "We board you." Okay, open fire. Paul, is this gang war now? How did they board them? He's going to terminate him. Yes.
I mean, you are right, Paul. How the fuck did they board? They were a fucking mile away. They you know what? Fuck this. The comic is done.
Well, there's a few more pages, so let's make sure that it's done. Okay. This is a promising comic book cover. If it ends like this, then I would be happy. Unfortunately, I know it will not be ending like this. And it's coming in November of this year, because of course that's...
Everyone in this planet should die.
Yes.
I am just saying it because it should.
Okay, so we have one comment from this entire High Republic series for this issue, and it says, "You're the real hero, fat black Jedi with side-shaven haircut straight out of a long, long time ago in a universe far, far away and or 2005 Tumblr." Pretty sure he meant 2015 Tumblr, but close enough. She says, "Please let them die." Killer was mad, says the end. They all died. So, Oros, thoughts on this comic that took us almost 2 hours to get through?
Do you want another 2 hours? Because I could drag on this all night.
No, I just want to call the stream and go home.
Well, the only thing I can say is that for a single fucking second, Jose almost made me think that he had done something good. Luckily, the comic was not done and put me back in the right mindset. And as he's the fucking worst writer ever.
Congratulations, Daniel Jose Older. You have done it again. You've once again proven that there's a reason why your name is going to be the most remembered with High Republic.
At this point, I have to ask, is he trying, really trying to make this worse and worse every time?
I wouldn't be surprised if he was at this point. But, yeah, the thing is this his absolute worst in terms of lore breaks and whatnot? No. In terms of the sheer stupidity of the plot, though, this is pretty high up there.
I mean, the only thing I can say in his favor at this point is he already broke the lore. There is not much else to destroy. So at least we cannot get angry at that anymore.
No, we can. We absolutely can. He will find a way. Do not tempt him.
I was being nice, thank you. But as far as the story itself goes, this was horrid shit.
Yes, it was. From the very beginning, all the way through, it has been consistently god-awful.
Ace, I know you remember it perfectly clear, but we almost took half an hour from before the first page because it was easy to destroy this comic before we ever began. And holy shit, it only went downhill.
Yep. Yes, it did.
Well, then, final thoughts is, please destroy this and erase it from the internet. Please.
Yep. Killer says, I don't know if it was his worst, but it was absolutely disgraceful. Yes, it was. There are definitely issues that I can point to that are worse than this. For various reasons that have been done by Daniel Jose Older. But not many. Not many individual issues.
He has done a lot worse, but in this one, I think he just went ahead and said, I am going to make everyone hate me today. I feel like it.
He's going to make himself into an enlightened centrist, because if absolutely everyone gets pissed off at you, that means you must be a centrist.
But yeah, this was really 2 hours of comic and suffering, right?
Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, I think, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, please, Jose, stop working.
Yes.
Other than that, I am sorry, everyone, for sharing this suffering with you.
Well, at least it was fun having you on here, despite the circumstances.
Well, we did laugh, but it hurts a lot now.
Yes. So, yeah, I think we're at a good point to go ahead and call it. So, yeah, this has been Ace.
And it has been Uros, or what is left of him.
Thank you for being on.
Whenever you need me.
And we hope to both see you all again soon. Until then, take care. Ace out.